What are your thoughts on students coming together to form such a peaceful and powerful movement, not only honoring the Parkland victims, but also standing up to something like gun violence?
I really appreciated the way the Wood Creek students handled that event. First and foremost, the young lady, Grace, who organized it, did an excellent job promoting honoring the victims, and I think that that was the primary focus. But I do think it's important for our students to have a peaceful response to violence at schools, whether it's gun violence or any kind of violence. I think it's okay to say enough is enough. This has been ongoing. Like I said when I spoke that day, I was student teaching in 1999 when Columbine happened. I was actually in Colorado, and so from 1999 till now, violence has marked many of our school campuses across our nation. And so I supported them because I feel like there's definitely a need to change the way schools are addressing issues, and actually our whole nation is addressing issues related to students feeling safe when they get.
So you mentioned Grace, and I'm assuming she's the one that put it all together. How did she come up to you guys? Was this, how did this all happen?
That's a great question. She approached us. She approached Miss Bell, and Miss Bell and I worked with her on setting up the walkout. She created an Instagram, and she has a good friend that actually went to the school in Parkland, and they knew people that were there on that day. And so she had a real personal connection to the situation. And we talked a lot about the political sides when Grace and Miss Bell and I met, and had a real discussion about how this shouldn't be about politics. This should be about students should be able to go to school and feel safe when they're at school. And so honoring people that weren't safe at school, as well as putting our foot down and saying, no, we need to have safe schools. That's what we decided the message would be. She did a great job. She did all of the planning. She wrote her speech. She approved the whole, she designed and approved the program. I was really proud of her, and I thought she did an excellent job. I think there's more awareness. I think that schools have done things to become safer. I think there's more security at schools. I do think that there's an increased focus on mental health of teenagers. I think that we can do more, though, because obviously these incidents keep happening. So do I think there's a difference? Yes. But I definitely think that there's more we can do, and we're doing more within our district and at our school and within our county. We have lots of things in place already. Obviously, we have a campus police officer. We're hoping to have that person full-time. That's a district negotiated item with the city. We have 3 campus monitors. We have a closed campus. So there's a lot of things that we already do to monitor what happens on our campus. We're adding some things. There's going to be a new gate installed this summer that will run from the corner of the administration building to the corner of the cafeteria. It will require anybody coming onto campus during the school day to go through the office. We are purchasing a new visitor check-in system so that we have everybody checked in has a picture on a badge so that we know where people are going and who they are at all times. So we're going to increase security coming and going. We've talked about different kinds of door locks on doors and things that maybe need to be improved so that lockdowns can happen faster should they need to. Obviously, we hope that they don't happen. So we're doing a lot of preventative things like that. In addition to that, our entire district is opening wellness centers. And so I think that a huge piece of the puzzle for us is also making sure that our students are able to access mental health services and get support they need when they're feeling like they're in crisis. So that piece is also going to be a part of our plan. In addition to continuing to encourage our students to report things that are out of alignment with what they think they should be. And so making those systems more aware that anonymous reporting needs to happen, that you need to notify us of things that are going wrong. But we're planning on addressing all angles of safety and continuing to take input from the community, which we have, and certainly our students. We want people to feel safe, and we want our students to feel like they can come here and learn and enjoy being a teenager without feeling like that they're not safe in this environment.
You mentioned the wellness center. Is that going to be on campus for students?
Yeah, we're going to be, when students come back next year, there's going to be some things shifted around in our office. We're not entirely sure where everybody's going to land, but there's going to be a portion of our office that's going to house mental health specialists, and we're going to offer more robust counseling to students and give students a place where they can decompress should they need to. We're just trying to increase the number of services to our students. Anxiety levels in teenagers in America are at an all-time high. There's so much going on, there's so many pressures, and we feel like we want to address all of that as a district, and our school's very supportive of increasing services to our students.
Lastly, Wood Creek has experienced a few tragedies for the last year and a half, including 2 suicides, a life-threatening accident, and a shelter-in-place incident. What is the school doing to prepare for traumatic events, including crisis, trauma, and grief management?
Those are great questions, and it's been unfortunate. I think that it has been a couple of pretty tough years for the Wood Creek student, staff, community altogether. I'll kind of go through the different things you asked about. In terms of crisis, we have a safety team that meets monthly, and we have plans in place for what it looks like if we lock down. We have buckets that are in each of our classrooms that contain supplies and turn into restrooms if need be during a lockdown or a shelter in place. So we have protocols and things that are reviewed regularly to ensure that we are handling those situations well. In addition to that, our staff has a system called Catapult that allows us to use messaging on our teachers' phones and email accounts to quickly get information out in those situations. It also allows us to account for students. We continue to work on reunification plans should we have to be in a lockdown. How do we get students back to their parents in a timely fashion and accounted for? That can be a huge task when you have 2,200 students on a campus. So we have all of those things in place, and we'll continue to refine our processes as every time a lockdown or a shelter in place or any type of incident, a suicide, a student death happens in our district. The principals and assistant principals go to meetings, and we actually review what happens at Oakmont or review what happens at Antelope to get better and to inform us all how to do these things better. So we really definitely try to make improvements even when it's not our own situation. That way we are ahead of the curve next time we have to deal with those situations. In terms of grief management or counseling, I think that our counseling staff does a great job here. We, whenever we have an incident on campus, specifically speaking to the suicides, we always have a grief room set up, and we have counselors that are trained with supplies and the appropriate things that they need to take care of students during those days. We work with local agencies as well. They'll come in, they'll go out to the family if there's a family affected and visit with us. So we work really hard with our current counseling team. The Wellness Center will also play a role in that as we move forward. It will become more of a comprehensive system too. So I think that these topics come up often within our conversations as district and site leaders. And so I feel confident that we've gotten better and will continue to get better and hopefully not have to employ what we know, but we're ready if we do.
You mentioned a walk-up movement. Can you give us some more detail on that?
I saw it on social media, which is kind of funny because so many things happen on social media these days. A lot of schools, and particularly in the K-8 grades, rather than doing a walkout, they promoted something called Walkup, where on that particular day, or on any day really is what the hope would be, but maybe picking days throughout the year to walk up to a student who maybe is eating lunch alone, walk up to a student who maybe you don't always get along with in class, but you want to learn more about the person. The purpose of the walk-up movement would be more connection. So building a stronger community at our school. So it could be with teachers, it could be with students, all of those things. But the idea would be to walk up to someone that's maybe different than you or someone that doesn't seem to be connected and make those connections. Because what we do know is in a lot of school violence situations, the students who are the perpetrators of those acts are students who often don't feel connected in some way shape or form to the school community. And so we want everybody to feel connected here because they're all our students. And so it's one of our Wood Creek Way tenets, protect the pack. That's part of protecting the pack, making sure that everybody has a place where they feel that they can connect and that they're cared about. And so I've actually had some suggestions since then that might become a annual thing that we promote as a school. So more to come on that. We haven't made any decisions on that, but I definitely would like to see us continue to utilize that phrasing. Instead of walking out, walk up, and let's create a community that's safe and kind.